All right, Paul, it wasn't working out for me in email form, so here's what I think is a much better approach to letting you know what I want to get done. Two things I want to do: partition a user in a boot, and then sandbox an additional boot partition. In my mind, it looks something like that. I've got an external backup, but I imagine for this type of thing, it's better to boot from an external clone and then point back to the inside one. I've only ever used Carbon Copy Cloner to create disk images that could be booted and then pointed back somewhere. But I think SuperDuper can give me something where it just can hold down the Option key at startup, point to the external, and then get to work from there. If you've got other ideas on whether this is a good idea or what tools to use, please let me know. But once we've got or booted from an external drive, I think Disk Utility can just be pointed back at the internal, map the partitions that we want, and then this is where I think SuperDuper does come in handy. They've got this Sandbox functionality that, again, I've only read about, I've never used. If we point that Sandbox over to the boot partition on the internal drive, we'll wind up with a boot drive. If we run it again at the other partition, we'll wind up with the Sandbox. And this is where I think we need to go into the terminal in order to map the users over to the internal drive, and then one more time, I guess, inside terminal to link the new boot drive to the new users partition. I know there's concerns about whether mapping the entire users folder or individual users across partitions and how that works. I'd definitely love your input there. There are some other things I'd like to get done, but I imagine tackling the first part is probably a smarter move at this point.